Alright, welcome back everybody. And today, got a bit of J-11 footage for you. This comes from a scrimmage match that we did against a new team to the competitive scene called 9G. As far as I'm aware, they are originally they were a dogfight squadron, like dedicated to just dogfighting, you know, one of those kinds of groups, but they're branching out into doing BVR, and you know, now we're scrimming them. So, as I said in the previous video, obviously I have grievances with how powerful the J-11 is in SATAC 2023. So my team is going to be using it for the foreseeable future in the tournament because it's just the best aircraft possible. And one of the things you can do is what I've done here, which is take a unsupported R27ER shot because one of them is jamming. And now, unfortunately, I misjudged the actual range that I was from the guys I'm shooting at. I think I shoot both of them at roughly 50-ish miles, about 100 kilometers-ish. And that was bad in hindsight because it wouldn't be so bad if the R27ER had longer battery life. For those of you that don't know, R27ER has only 60 seconds of battery life. So you're only going to get about 40 miles out of it, maximum 80-ish kilometers. That's about all you're going to get maximum out of the missile, and I shot at about 50. But the point is that had I actually taken those shots correctly, they would have killed, as you'll see in the TAC views that I'm going to show right here. They would have 100% impacted had I been a little bit more diligent in actually figuring out how far away they were. And that's super powerful because they didn't decide to turn off their jammer. Now this is a little bit later in the fight. This is just an SD10 kill. This is the only kill I get in the match. But
Fox-3 on him.
there is one, but you know that this is the only SD10 kill, or this is the only kill I get in the first round. But I might as well show it off. I'm kind of doing like a super cut of everything. But as you can see, you know, with the data link, you know, he pops up. I'm able to pick him up and track him here. His buddy is over there a little bit further back on data link, and I'm able to pick him up. SD10 here, close to the Nez, high to low. He's gonna eat that here in a second. And because I know that shot's most certainly gonna kill, I just go ahead and swap to his buddy behind him. And I take an SD10 shot here at about 20 kilometers. It's a decent shot, but he was already defensive. As you can see, he's turning cold already, so he'll be perfectly fine. And that was my last SD10, so unfortunately I waste that. But again, one of the things I talked about in the previous video about the J-11 being powerful is that they modded in fighter-to-fighter data link. So in single player, for those of you who don't know, the flanker in single player has fighter-to-fighter data link, but in multiplayer it doesn't. Why is that? I have no idea. So it's very, very easy to keep track of all your friends. Here, you know, after I ran out of SD10s, I basically was flying circles, baiting myself to help my buddies get kills. And here I'm going to merge with the F-18. My first R-73 whiffs. The second one, I don't think that was Minwes, but because I think it was like about 4,000 feet, but I guess that's Minwes nose hot. So that second R-73's gone. So now I'm gonna merge. He did actually hit me a little bit, but you know, Su-27 is a huge aircraft, or J-11. He goes out of plane, which makes my gun harder to hit, and now my wingman is able to press him because my wingman actually has medium range missiles still, so we get this kill. But again, you know, that's another reason as to why the data link is so good, because I can just call merged, and as long as he looks at his data link, even if the enemy is not on data link, he'll know exactly where I'm at. So here's from round 2. I got 2 kills with the ER, and this is another example as to why the ER is so powerful, because imagine doing this with an F-15 with Sparrows, or a Hornet with Sparrows, right? The Sparrow is just not comparable at all to the 27ER, outside of the fact that it is a Fox-1. The ER has so much more range and so much more speed. Plus, I'm tracking this guy in electro-optical. My radar's on, so I believe he should get a warning, but I am tracking him for sure with EO, so he's just not reacting. So I'm just going to continue to press until I get into Nez. And I think, yeah, that's like a 9-kilometer R27ER at 2,000 meters altitude, and it's just gonna hit him. Like there's no escaping this missile now. You know, he turns cold here, but it's just too fast of a missile. There you go. He gets taken out. Like, you can't do that with a Sparrow. At this altitude with a Sparrow, you know, you gotta press into like 3 miles to do something like that, and it would still take forever to hit. The ER is just so fast. It's so good. And this is a little bit later. In the fight, doing the exact same thing, but this time I do actually have a radar lock on this guy. But he's just not reacting. I think because he's beaming, and he should see me on data link, so I really don't know what the deal was, because I'm high up, I'm co-altitude, actually slightly higher than him, and flying towards him, so I should be on data link, but I'm just going to keep pressing him, spiking him here. Maybe he thinks I'm further away for some reason, and I just get into no escape zone with the R27ER, which here is about 20 clicks. I want to press closer, though, because I really want this to be a kill, and that's pretty much how I use the R27ERs. Is once you get into no escape zone range, it's a guaranteed kill pretty much. So that's really how you use it. Use the SD10s to get to do your grinders, get a little closer, and then get your guaranteed kills. Like, look how fast that thing killed him. You know, that was like 15 to 20 kilometer shot, and it just blew him up like instantly. It's just so fast of a missile. Now this is round 3 here. For this scrimmage, and I decided to take an altitude split with my buddies, so I actually climbed up to about 50,000 feet, and I'm really slow up here. I'm just barely over Mach 1, but I'm up at 50,000 feet, and now personally, with our doctrine, being up this high and only being slightly above Mach 1 is awful. It's really bad, but the SD10 has such good kinematics because of its rocket motor that you can just do this. You really can just do this. So I take about, you know, and some of you may be like, whoa, you're at 50,000 feet and you're taking only, you know, you're taking a 40-mile shot. I think it was like 70 clicks or whatever, which is equivalent to about 40 miles.
I have no clue.
Okay, my
or, you know, 37 to 40 miles. But like, I'm super slow. Being this high without a lot of energy is worthless, frankly. It really is. But the SD10's rocket motor is powerful enough to really make it go the distance. You know, so, and also, you'll notice that the other team isn't actually jamming, while we are. We have our ECM, we're able to jam them, they can't jam because they have F-16, they have one J-11 on their team, but for whatever reason, he's not jamming, but they have otherwise it's F-16s and F-18s. 18, again, can't use its jammer without disabling its radar, so they couldn't engage us if they wanted to jam. And then they can't engage us from the range that we can engage them, right? F-16 right now is completely bugged with ECM. You can't even engage jamming targets with the F-16 outside of like 10 miles or whatever. It literally won't let you lock up a jammer. It's really bad. But I get a nice long range kill here. And you know, 9G are a new team, but they fight very well. They really do. But the like, from us, my team, you know, we're dedicated to the Eagle, Strike Eagle, regular Eagle. So we don't have data links. So we fight a lot with communication and visual stuff and all that. So going to an airplane with a modified data link that's really good, that also has just the advantage in everything: high off-bore sight missiles, long-range Fox-1s, and all that, and electro-optical systems. It's just such a leap in capability for us specifically, right? It's such an insane leap in capability. Like, I remember after the scrimmage when we were debriefing, we were all like that just felt easy. That felt so unbelievably easy to do compared to how we usually fight, which takes you know, a lot of time and effort to make sure that we can actually you know, have good situational awareness. But in this, it just wasn't hard at all. It was so easy to just look at the data link, know exactly where everyone is, and you can say, oh, well, you could do this in the 16 and 18. Yeah, you certainly can, but because it's FC3 and it's modded, there's no line of sight problem, so you could fight in mountainous terrain and know exactly where your wingmen are at all times, if everyone's on the deck, right? The only thing that the Link 16 aircraft gets over the flanker in this is you can donate. You can donate contacts, right? So if, like, you know, even though I can share my position with my wingman, I can't share where I'm looking or what I'm looking at with my wingman. So that's the only problem, right? But it's not really that big of a deal because typically, if the guy that you're the guy that you're tracking, or if there's a guy not on data link, it's typically because he's in a defensive posture, whether that be notching or flowing cold, just because of the way the AWACS is fitted. So it's not really that big of a deal. The other thing is also that, like, the relative height stuff is something that you have to get used to. So instead of giving you an actual altitude in thousands of feet or whatever on the HDD, the data link screen for the flanker, you need to it's just relative, or well, it's like a weird, you know, analog scale, which can sometimes cause problems, but it's not that big of a deal, really. It's still a super easy system to use, very, very simple. But I can definitely tell you that flying the J-11, I really like it. I really, really like it. I think the setup where it has SD10s/PL12s is very good. It is very good. It's exactly what the flanker needed to be good. Unfortunately, it's too good. When you're talking about a balance thing, when you're talking about competitive balance, right? Because obviously that's what we do. We fight competitively, so obviously things have to be somewhat balanced. Now in SATEC there's no 9X, so that's already unbalanced, giving the R73 to the flankers and the fulcrums. You can argue, well, the 9X is harder to flare. Sure, that's true, but high off bore sight is high off bore sight, and you can't argue with that. But yeah, so like it's just you know, you took a platform that was more or less even with just ECM being added. Without ECM, yeah, no, the flanker's not good. It specifically against modern NATO aircraft with Fox-3s, AIM-120Cs to be specific. AIM-120Bs is a little more hit or miss, but the AIM-120C, yeah, no, the flanker is not winning that. It's never winning that as long as the players are decent, right? But now that you add the SD10, PL12, it evens the fight out a lot, and then you put ECM on top of that, and it just puts it so far. The scale tips so hard towards the J11. It's not even fair. Now maybe if they didn't have fighter-to-fighter data link, that would be better, for balance sake, because then you have to rely on the AWACS spotting your friendlies, which can be, you know, troublesome if you don't know exactly where they are, right? But that's not what's happening here. You know, they modded it so that not only they modded the SD10 PL12, they modded the fighter-to-fighter data link. So that's our, you know, multiple buffs, which in my opinion really was unnecessary for the balance. You know, and I know there's definitely a lot of people in the camp that say, oh, it's a simulator, it doesn't need to be balanced. I mean, yeah, sure, it doesn't need to be balanced, but it's competitive, right? Competition is supposed to be balanced, and it should come down to skill and who trains more, not simply who flies the better aircraft, right? That's the issue, right? You look at other competitive games, and it's, you know, things are always balanced between the two teams. But you know, everyone has the option to fly the J11. It's not like we're the only ones who get to fly it. It's not like some other teams are the only ones who get to fly it. Everyone gets to fly it. So there's that, right? But then it eliminates the choice of picking any other airframe over the J11. Now I'm sure there's also people who are going to argue that notching is very hard, because in my opinion, notching is the #1 skill to have in competitive. It is the one thing that changes, it's the one thing that differentiates a regular DCS player from a competitive DCS player, or like a very, very good DCS player, is being able to notch. And while the RWR in the flanker is very inaccurate, or not inaccurate, it's very accurate, but it's not precise, right? Because it doesn't have that digital display. You can still notch in it very easily, trust me. We've been doing a lot of practicing with notching over the past week or so to get that skill, because it's going to be very necessary. So when you combine being able to notch with high off bore sight missiles, plus being able to have a better beyond visual range game than all the other aircraft in the tournament, it's just a lot. Now that being said, as much as I don't like the option, I mean, I'm gonna use it I'll be honest. We're gonna be using it. We're gonna be flying it. It's just too good of an aircraft not to. If the tournament organizers are going to be adamant about leaving it in the tournament, then you know, why would we not use it if the goal of our team is to be competitive and to win? Obviously, we can stick to our guns and fly F-15s, right? But we can still employ all the tactics that we typically employ with the F-15. We're just going to employ it with a strictly better airframe for this environment. Now, if the F-15E had Link 16 right now and a jammer, I wouldn't care. I'd probably still fly the F-15E, but we don't. We don't have data link. We don't have a jammer. We don't have high off-bore sight missiles. None of that. So, you know, why not fly the better aircraft?
It might have been a Sparrow.
And that's really all I have to say about it.
Still got a launch warning.
So, yeah. I don't know. I ranted a little bit longer at the end of this than I wanted to, but trust me, in fact, I love the flanker. Adding all this crap to it just made it so much better. In like an open environment, it's cool. I mean, for example, like I've been flying it casually, with Moldy on the team for the past couple of weeks to get into the habit of flying it. And him and I doing like 2 flyouts get 15 kills across the 2 of us. You know, just doing 2 sorties.
Okay,
it's a ridiculously good airframe to fly casually with this specific loadout setting. It's crazy. It really is. So yeah, I don't know. You know, let me know your thoughts. If I'm wrong, if I'm just the most wrong person on the planet, or if I am correct because I am correct. If you know. And yeah, also, again, you know, we're gonna be flying this, so you're gonna see at least a couple of more videos on the J-11, specifically from the actual tournament matches. You're gonna be seeing those.
Nice.
So yeah, but besides all that, I just want to thank you guys all for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, all that, and have a nice day.